Hey everybody, it's Theresa here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to travel back in time to March of 2021 in my Project Life album, and this is a bi-monthly layout. So I've already done one March layout in this album. I just split the month in two and going to continue today and share some of these stories. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to share a little more of my process for selecting journal cards, and this part of the process I haven't traditionally shared in the past. And so I'm starting off the layout with these little Studio Calico number and month tags, I guess, or die cuts. And I also had this cute little quote card that said, "Let's be weird and wonderful together," and this striped card. And I have an idea that I want to build like a little pocket for those little March die cuts. And the striped card itself is going to set the color palette for the page. As I talk about this a lot, I use color as the unifying factor in most of my Project Life layouts. And so selecting one or two cards that set the palette for you then allows you to incorporate those colors around your layout. You can pull one or two colors or incorporate all of them if you want to. And so right here I'm working with or I've really pulled some pink and coral and red cards to use, and I'm just laying them out here to see how they look. And then there was this little floral card with the yellow and red flowers on it, and that transitions into some of the yellow cards that I thought I might use. And then I went through my blue cards and found this adorable little floral. Both of those are really cute, but I already know one of them can't quite go because they're not the same tones of blue, I guess. And then I had a wander card. Sometimes travel themed cards get put in my regular stash, and I like when that happens because you can bring those in for Project Life layouts as well. And then those were some of the 4x6 cards that I had chosen also. I don't know if I'm going to actually use those or not, but I'm going to keep them on hand and to see how this goes down, and I may end up changing the title card too. So at this point, I'm going to pull out the things that seem to fit with this color palette better than the other things. And again, sort of rounding out this color palette and this sort of idea of how can I represent this palette, introduce colors and variety into the layout, and still tell the stories that I want to tell. And this is March, so March feels a lot like spring for me. And what we were doing that month was apparently we went to Charlotte. I think we went more than once. And so there were two sets of Charlotte photos, and there was a hair appointment, which you can see. We found a Disney store randomly, a Disney outlet randomly, and we also had our washing machine and dryer delivered. And if you saw the first March layout, then you saw how that whole story had gone down. So those are some of the things that I'll be sharing about in this layout. And now, once I have some of these cards narrowed down, I can start to place them in the layout. And so that's sort of what I'm doing here. I'm going to trim this. This was a 4x6. Studio Calico always does that for their journaling card packs. The first one is always 2 3x4s, and then on the back it has like the color palette and stuff like that on it. And so I'm going to use, or at least at this point, I'm thinking about using these florals. I'm thinking about maybe using half of it. I don't know yet. I'm kind of not decided, but I'm going ahead and cutting it down, and we'll sit with it and see how it feels when we get the other journaling cards in place, and that'll help make that decision. I think that for some reason I was drawn to the flowers. If you can't tell, the 4x6 blue card, that navy 4x6 blue card, I really wanted to use that somehow. And then you can see the light blue with the orange flowers, this white card with the red and yellow, the pink card with the yellow and white daisies on it. Like, I was feeling particularly flowery. And that's okay. Like, go with that. Pull cards that make you feel happy, right? And then notice which ones carry a theme throughout the layout. And that can help you make those decisions as well, about what cards you want to use. And so here, what I can see here is that I've got a lot of flowers on this page. And even though they're cute, they don't all have the same type of feel to them, right? And that's what I'm paying attention to here. There's the light blue card on the far right hand side now that has sort of what I call blobby flowers. They're really cute and I love those. But this card, the navy blue 4x6 card and the little white floral card, those are more kind of line drawing flowers. And I'm not even going to comment on the red card with the little pink flowers on top or cream colored flowers on it. I'm not even going to comment about that. I just like it. It's just there because I like it. And that's okay too. I just want you to know it's okay to just put a card in there because you like it. So and one of the other cards that I really liked and really stood out to me was the Loving This Moment card. And you can see that one has those shades of blue. And it also has a really nice grid for journaling. And that can be used as it is, or it can be cut apart and used as layering pieces. It just depends on what the mood strikes, or what I need in that pocket. If I need a journaling card, I can use the grid. If I need sort of a title or want to just include more words, then I can use the top part of it. And so then it becomes what card do I want to pair it with? And I had the secondary light blue card with the orange florals on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and commit to those. And those will be a repetitive element, right? And so we've talked before about introducing elements into your layout and then repeating them somewhere else. And that's a great opportunity to repeat those orange flowers there in that layout. And that looks really nice. To me, that blue, that sort of Williamsburg blue, feels like the church that's in the top part of the layout. Just the sky and the mood of that photo, I feel a little blue. So that's kind of what inspired that. And I think that I have settled on the cards I'm going to use. Check it out, the Loving This Moment card. I ended up using the other side of it, which is pink, red, and yellow. And then I also used the yellow journaling card. and I ended up deciding for sure to use the Wander card. That is a little black and white, and that's why I went ahead and committed to that one. So at this point, I'm going to start building my title card, and I really liked this weird and wonderful card. So I'm going to create a pocket. I just cut it in two above the quote line, and I'm going to tuck these little March cards or March die cuts into the pocket, and then I'm leaving myself space on the pink card here to stamp the date or dates and any other embellishments or anything that I feel like I want to add to the bottom of that card. Easy enough to do that. And this was really kind of a fun way to use these die cuts. I've been a little bit obsessed with them. If you saw my traveler's notebook layout a couple of weeks ago, I used them in that album, and it was just I thought it was a really cute idea that Studio Calico did that this year in their traveler's notebook and documenter kits. I did have space for just one more little thing. So check this out. I'm going to punch a little circle from this little red card and tuck that in. And then that, again, repeats that element. And then you'll see what I do with that 3x4 card. You'll see once I get to that side of the page. I will cover that up so that it's not visible. And then I'm just checking to see what were the March dates that I'm dealing with here so that I knew what to stamp. And I'm going to grab the LE Studio dated stamps. I'm sorry, I grabbed the scrapbook.com dated stamps and arrange these here. So this gives you a little bit of flexibility. You don't have to do the dates, or you can do the week number, of course, however it is that you are creating your title cards for your project. And I know I've said this before, and I really forgot how fun it was to make these weekly cards, and just to have a little 4x6 canvas and a little opportunity to just have fun, just to embellish it. You already know what you're putting on it, right? You already know what's going on your title card because it's going to be dates probably. And so some of the hard work is done for you. Check me out. I'm gonna clean my stamps while I'm working today. So that is something that I'm trying to commit to this year, is cleaning my stamps as I go along so that they stay in a little bit better shape. And again, since this was a bi-monthly or twice monthly layout, I'm going to stamp March 14 through 31. And I am just using the archival ink. That seems to be an ink that works really well for me across lots of different types of papers and things like that. I also frequently incorporate a little puffy sticker to divide the date in half. And so that creates a little visual interest as well. And then I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. You could add more embellishments if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep in the spirit of simplicity and leave it at that. And then I wanted to start here with my journaling. And usually that's what I do in the first 3x4 card, is just start to tell the narrative of what's happening in this layout and what was going on at that time in our lives. And so that way I know where to start with the storytelling portion of the layout, and I know what to do with that first 3x4 card. And that's just some of the strategies that I use so that I don't get stuck, so that I can keep moving forward in producing these layouts, to reduce decision fatigue. I'm not a fan of that term, but it is a real thing. You know, you do get tired of making decisions, and some of these, it's okay to do the same thing week after week. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. So I went back to the hair salon in March of 2021, and I really and truly could not remember the last time I had been to the hair salon. And so that was a milestone to celebrate. And I just took a photo, feeling like the Hobbit there, sitting in the stylist chair with my hair in wraps, foil wraps. And then gonna just move along here and work with this blue floral card. And so a couple of stamps that I use a lot in Project Life are the tab stamps from We Are Memory Keepers and circle punches. I'm sorry, did I say circle stamps? Circle punches and the tab punches. And they're just a fun way to add a little word, punch a little word sentiment there. And that's what I did straight out of the middle of that journaling card. And the reason I like to do that is because it helps me use up those cards. And I know in some of the In My Pocket classes, I've challenged our class participants to see how many cards they could use up in a layout. I'll try to share that with you at the end of the video and tell you how many cards I ended up using. And that's just a fun little challenge and a great way to use up the journaling cards. I know that's one thing that Studio Calico does a little too well. They include so many journaling cards in their Documenter kit, and I love it. But then I also, they add up in your stash. So I try to use them as layering pieces across the page. This was our lovely brand new washer and dryer. Yay! Yay for adulting. So it was nice to have those delivered and get back on track with the laundry. So what I want to do here is build a title onto the photo. And I've been doing this a little bit, quite a bit actually, over the last few weeks, just using some alphabet stickers and creating what I call a working title. And what that means is a title that also functions as journaling. And so what I wanted to say with the journaling was how excited we were to get the washer and dryer, and we were probably a little too excited. And so the title is going to read, Way Too Excited for This. And I think the red letters here will help that stand out against the door frame and the sort of white feeling of the page. Of course, there's always the decision to make which side of the page or which side of the photo do I want to put the title on. But I chose the right-hand side because of the door frame. And so that way the window and the washing machine itself will be unobstructed by the title. So I'm going to just set those alphabets down here. I was surprised at how many of the letter stickers this let me use, and so that was kind of nice too, to use up some of my stash. I always recommend using up the stash. And then you'll see at the end, I actually ran out of T's. And some letters you run out of, and there's just no way to make another one. G's. If you run out of G's, there's just no way to make another G. But the T was pretty lucky, actually. I think I went for an I, and I just trimmed it down so that it just had the crossbar across the top. And that worked out perfect. And I liked how that title came out. I chose that alphabet because it had a little funky feel for it, and I placed those alphabets on purpose. They're not quite straight up and down, and they're also not quite in a straight line, and that was intentional because it sort of fit the mood for this funny little tongue-in-cheek title. So this is our cat Zoe, and our cat Zoe around this time, she adopted Addison, our oldest son, and she really likes to hang out with him and sleep in his bed with him. And on this particular day, he had the nerve to close his door and shut her out of his room. And she sat there for a long time pouting that he had shut the door on her. And so I took a picture of it. Poor kitten. I took a picture of it, and then I just told the story about how he dared to have the nerve to close the door on her. Yeah, she was not real happy about that. So one more journaling card here for this side of the layout, and I'm gonna back it out a little bit for you so you can see how the layout is coming together so far. And you'll see here how I'm just adding a little bit of journaling here to talk about our Charlotte trip on this layout and to sort of transition into that part of the layout. And I wanted to use I love a grid journaling card like this because it lets you add other details. And so I'm going to use the black alphabets to put CLT. That's the airport code for Charlotte. And that pops on that card, and you see automatically, oh yeah, we're in Charlotte. Especially if you fly in and out of Charlotte or whatever, and you're familiar with that airport code. Plus, it's kind of cool, traveling. We didn't fly anywhere, I promise. But it's kind of cool. And then I'm going to grab a date stamp real quick and add the date. I also had to look it up. Had to look up what dates we were there. It was a Saturday. I think we had gone to the Container Store. And the Container Store in Charlotte is attached to this mall that we had actually never been in before, and so we went in there, and they had a Disney store in there still, so that was fun. I don't think I bought anything that day, but on the right hand side of the photo you can see that Alan and I just took a picture of ourselves. It's so nice to find a little Disney magic there in the middle of an unexpected day trip to the city. So I'm going to continue here. This is the card that I punched the little part circle out of. And so I'm going to continue how I'm treating these half pattern cards, half journal cards, incorporating the rest of the grid card on top of it to cover where I punched that hole, and then also punching another tab there with a bit of word art, and just gonna talk about where we are and what we're doing, who, what, where, when, and why. I think that I was going through some changes in my studio. We had added the Alex drawers, and that's the Alex. I have two 2 Alex drawers that house my die cuts, punches, and ink pads. And then I was also just looking for some other little storage containers and things like that. You know, the ongoing quest for the perfect studio space right here, but it makes for a nice jaunt into the city. And so you can see, then the other thing I did here was added the little together word strip and the heart, and just incorporating some wood pieces there. And that really made that card so cute. I'm a huge fan of layering and layering some more and adding some more. You can see here what I'm going to do with this black on white Wander card. Love these cards. You can tell who it's designed by in a creative bubble. And notice how I'm just using some of the little tiny stickers here in red. This echoes that working title from the left-hand side, and it just adds a little pop to that card. I love Project Life cards that leave you a little bit of room to add your own. That's like the sweet spot for me. So I had one more of these blue cards with the orange floral on it. So I'm going to layer this on top of a second journaling card, and that will allow me to have more journaling space, but also incorporate or repeat that orange on blue again. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. That's sort of my thing. Repeat the elements around the page so that they feel familiar and your eye knows, oh yeah, I sort of expected that. I sort of expected that color. When you look at the title card, that title card tells you what to expect on this layout. Not what to expect when you're expecting, but what to expect, what's going to happen on this page. Remember that with your title cards. They serve a really great purpose there. So I'm just writing some notes here. I added a little white on black puffy sticker too. It's an arrow, and arrows strategically placed on your layout. Remember that when you're using an arrow, point them into the layout itself. Just a little tip there for you. The photo of us in the Disney store. And then I had another little wooden piece. I think these wood pieces are all from Ellie's studio. And I put that little I love you in the sunroof. That's always a fun photo to take before we go anywhere. And also it was kind of nice weather that we were able to open the sunroof like that. So it's kind of a celebration of all the good things here in March of last year. So one last story here is the pantry, and we had started doing a bunch of cooking on the weekends. And what I was trying to do was to create meals. I'll be talking about this more in the next couple of layouts and stuff. But I was trying to meal plan better and trying to make some meal prep on Saturdays or Sundays to make the meal making during the week a little bit easier. And so we rearranged some things in the pantry. That was probably also part of why we went to the Container Store. So we worked a little bit in the pantry, and I just added the photo of that and added the little house and spelled out home on that page. And then one last photo here. This is the skyline of Charlotte, just taken from downtown. And that completes the layout. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, for following along. I hope you'll check out the blog post on my blog today. There's lots more inspiration, plenty more layouts at theresamoxley.com. I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.